Hi there, I'm Josh Steffler from wearechange.victoria.org and Freedom Free For All, back again for another segment in the Money Bomb for Tim Moen. Tim needs your support. Tim needs money to get a successful campaign going, and hopefully you can watch this and gain some valuable insight, find some value, and be able to donate $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever you're able to donate to help Tim speak for life, liberty, and property in Ottawa. This segment, we're going to talk about war, and I'm joined with George, Greg, and Brad again from We Are Change Victoria. Thanks for coming again, guys. So I think we all know that war is the health of the state, and for those that don't know, the Libertarian Party is not in favor of wars of aggression. They are in favor of diplomacy and talking these situations out rather than using force. One of the main principles of the Libertarian Party is that using force to spread your ideas is wrong and it invalidates your ideas. What do you guys think about war and the state of politics in Canada today?
Well, I've heard it said that the first casualty of war is truth. And I think that's a lesson that hasn't been learned well enough by most people, especially those in power. And with all these dubious reports of, the situation surrounding 9/11, the situation surrounding what happened in Libya and things like that, I think we should have a healthy suspicion as to what are behind these wars. And if we can actually begin to scrutinize what the dissenters are saying to us, I think we would find out that most of these wars are in the interest of big corporate interests and not in the interest of the people who actually go and fight them. It's usually the fat cats that sit at home and get the working class to go out and die in these wars and be maimed in these wars. And it seems to me that all of the leading parties, be them Liberal or Conservative or NDP, have recently, all of this bring us to the same place, into these international wars that are not concerning Canadians' interests, and I think that needs to be addressed. And it seems to me that the Libertarian Party is going to offer, a more open dialogue on exactly what these wars are really all about. I think that's something I really want to get behind.
And, this overseas adventurism that we've seen for so many decades, all throughout the World War I, II, the Vietnam, which was just a terrible war, all these other things, Libya, you see the Arab Spring, all these, and these people in Ottawa that are just gnawing at the bit to try and go over there and spread this Canadian sphere of influence and love by trying to bomb and kill people.
Along with the spreading of depleted uranium.
That's another thing that we can't forget. And again, you totally nailed it in the sense that it's the fat cats that are stuffing their pocketbooks.
Yeah,
and the libertarian perspective is they follow the non-aggression principle. So we libertarians absolutely advocate for defense,
of course.
and so be the right to protect yourself and your family and your property, but not to be aggressive and assertive and trying to
police the world.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You nailed it. And yeah, I mean, it's frightening for how long this has been going on.
Like, why did we go into Libya? Does anybody really know why we went into Libya? I mean, we've heard all these conversations about he was supposedly machine gunning in his own people and la 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 la. Well, I hear other conflicting information about he was really there to help the International Monetary Fund prevent him from making a currency for Africa to liberate Africa. We don't know. And the thing is that unless we really know what's going on, we need to, look longer and harder at why we go into these wars that don't serve our interests.
But you see, the whole trouble is with war is that all the women and children are the ones that suffer the most, because the men are away fighting wars and so forth, and you've got the women left behind with kids, and it doesn't matter if you're on the winning side or on the losing side, it's still the same group of people that suffer a lot. And this is as if they're deliberately doing it to destroy the women and children in our society. And look it around.
And we also are talking about these are wars abroad, but a big government also engages in war at home, domestic war.
Yeah.
There are new wars on words. Canada is a part of the war on terror. And more it looks like our big government is engaging in a war on privacy, a war on you at home. And if you're against these wars abroad, wars at home, the wars on drugs, the wars on freedom, the wars in Libya, Ukraine, the wars on the internet, then reach into your pocket, find $1 or $2 or $5 or $10 and send it Tim Moen's way so that we can actually have a man in Ottawa running a campaign and standing up for ending war. The absence of war is not, like, peace is not just the absence of war, because you need to have good, solid men and women at home advocating for peace and not looking to start new wars. And the Libertarian Party, I can guarantee, will never start a new war, either at home or abroad.
It's interesting that you mentioned wars at home. You know, we have this war on terror. What do you get? You get more terror. You get the act. What was the name of that act they came up with? The Anti-Terrorism Act. So you get more terrorism. You get a war on drugs. Did they get rid of the drugs? No. We get more drugs. We get drugs being flown in from apparently I heard it was brought in from undead soldiers at one time, but that's a little different. But I mean, you get a war on crime, and you get more crime. You know, it just seems every time the government declares war on something, it's a racket. You know,
Maybe.
Of course, it's been a racket for at least 2,000
Wasn't it
years,
Butler that said it was
probably
a racket?
older. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
war is a racket. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. War is a
because
racket.
what wars since the French Revolution and the American Revolution, everything since, have all been orchestrated by the same banking family.
Yeah, that's
That spells the
that's
story
the education
right
thing you were talking about, right?
Well, and wars are part of humanity's history. So if we want to keep repeating history, we would keep electing the same people that get us involved in these wars, like the NDP, like the Liberals, and like the Conservatives. If you want to look to the future and try something different, I would highly suggest we try a libertarian government, or at least have a few libertarian voices in there standing up for something different, something new, something that hasn't been tried before, or has been tried but has been squelched and crushed by these pro-war parties, be it a party that's pro-war on drugs or pro-war on fascist regimes across the world, or wars on privacy and your property at home. All of these political parties are engaged in some sort of war, and even in our lexicon, it's all adversarial, and it's a war on poverty. It's a war on drugs. War is not good for humanity, and I don't know any average citizen that wants war. If you don't want war, and I don't want war,
there's two,
why are we having all these wars?
There's two citizens that want war: the banks and big business.
Well, those aren't citizens. Those
Okay,
are
but
fictitious.
they are fictitious citizens.
Entities,
but
yeah.
they have the power of citizenship, and because they have so much money, they influence what they do.
Yeah, no.
And if we had a limited state, if we had a government that was following its proper role, which is to protect the rights of the people, it wouldn't be engaging in these wars.
Right,
it wouldn't be engaging in cyber wars. It wouldn't be engaging in fomenting wars like we saw the West funding these people to overthrow the government in Ukraine, to foment another war and start problems with Russia, and building this war in humanity, West versus East, capitalism versus socialism.
And then you find out all kinds of different people are training different infiltrators to do different things, and we really don't know what's going on.
I can just say, I've had enough. I am completely, absolutely fed up. It's taken every ounce of my being to put up with this shit for as long as I have in my life. And I won't do it any longer. I'm not going to pay homage to these politicians that sit in their comfy chairs at Parliament Hill, jack off all day, and spend our money in blood and treasure. And I've absolutely had enough. Whether it's the wars, you want to send our men and women overseas so they can die, or you want to have them come back so that they've totally lost focus. They've come back with post-traumatic stress disorder. They bring that shit to their families. Okay, that destroys the family unit when they come home. So they've lost their ability to be innovative, to be the people that they were inherently meant to be.
Well, that's because when in peacetime, sons bury their fathers, but in wartime, fathers bury their sons. And this is the madness of war. And we all can see that war is mad, but if we must understand that the first casualty of war is truth.
Okay, but you see, here's where Tim has a chance to stand out. We know all the other politicians have been bought out. You can tell just by their actions and decisions. So if you're thinking of Tim Ball,
Tim Moen.
Tim Moen, I'm
Let me
sorry.
correct you.
Okay. Okay, can this guy be bought out? That's another question you might want to ask yourself, because that's what politics are today. Look at the cost of the election in the States. They're spending $1 billion each. I mean, crazy.
But Tim's not getting that kind of money, so that's why he needs the grassroots here, George. That's why he needs people like us, people that are watching this, to actually reach in your pocketbook. Be that percentage of people that actually converts to giving a shit and vote with your dollars. Don't be that person that votes every 4 years or every time there's an election. We vote every day with our money at the grocery store, with the things we buy, with all of our crap. Vote with your dollars and support Tim Moen. Go to his website at the very least. Was it votemoen.ca? Check out the platform. See if there's an issue that really strikes home with you, then follow up with that. I mean, this is why we're here. This is why we're having this marathon money bomb day for Tim. We need to get these ideas out to the Canadian people, because again, it almost kills me that people aren't getting off their asses, off the couch. We have so many armchair patriots at home, and they just want to tinker on the edges. They just want to, they just want to, they can't really go there with that subject.
When it comes time to act,
we need to get in there.
Yeah.
So do something. This is your opportunity to be part of something that's special, that's unique to the province of Alberta, that's unique to Athabaska-Fort MacMurray region. And support Tim Moen.
Because obviously the traditional parties are not providing the change. They're not listening. And that's the first thing that has to change. And another thing I like about the whole libertarian approach is the open dialogue and the transparency that's integral in the party and its platforms of itself. So that's another good reason to vote for Libertarian.
Do you have any final thoughts, George?
No, not right now. Thank you.
I'd like to remind you guys at home that this is a 12-hour money bomb for Tim Moen. And if you can find $1 or $2, look in your couch. I'm sure you can find a couple toonies. Don't buy a coffee today. Instead, send a man to Ottawa. Help him combat the corporate and the union dollars that all go and get funded into running these slick political campaigns that play you against your neighbor, against your brother, against your family and your friends. Please check out votemoen.ca, donate what you can, and if you find value in what we've done today, check us out at wearechangevictoria.org and Freedom Free for All Television. I'm Josh Steffler. Be safe and be free.